I'm going to show you how to quantum leap into your manifestation. This is Jane, and we're going to break it down on the whiteboard. This is Jane, and this blue circle is Jane's energy field. What's going on inside the circle is her internal world, which is creating her external reality. Now, in part one, I showed you what can block manifestations from coming in, and in this video, we're going to talk about how to quantum leap into a new reality where you 10x your manifesting. So for Jane, she's a healer who's currently making $1,000 a month, and she wants to quantum leap into a new reality where she's making $10,000 a month. I've put the average human experience inside Jane's energy field. So for example, she's carrying shame, fear, guilt, anger, unworthiness, and a lot of other trauma from childhood wounding. She also has limiting beliefs around money, like money is hard, success takes a lot of time, money comes and goes. And then with her identity, she's often playing small. She's watering herself down. She doesn't feel confident in herself or her gifts. We have scarcity programs, which are beamed onto us at a collective level. So for Jane, this is that her spiritual gifts are not safe to share, that being her true authentic self is not safe. It's also that the traditional corporate path is what is actually financially secure, and that her spiritual business won't bring that same security. Everything in Jane's energy field is emitting a different frequency, and you can see these frequencies do not match the frequency of the money that she's calling in. Once you set this $10,000 goal, every belief, story, or thought you have that contradicts the $10,000 is going to come to the surface, and this is your subconscious wanting to keep you safe. So it's all these thoughts like money is hard, I don't know what I'm doing, my gifts aren't good enough, how could I be successful? All of these things are going to come to the surface. You don't want to avoid it. You want to let them come to the surface so you know what is creating your experience, so you can start to change those belief systems and change those stories into something that actually supports you, which is emotional healing. So if you're carrying a lot of shame in your field, it doesn't matter how good your gifts are, you will probably have imposter syndrome. And if you're carrying a lot of guilt, you will probably have a difficult time receiving. Number 3 is somatic and energy healing, because the body keeps score. So you're releasing things mentally and emotionally, and now we need to do it energetically through EFT tapping, breath work, shaking, walking, whatever physical energetic release works for you. Next, we have the identity shift and the aligned action, because we can clear the junk out of your field, but if your identity doesn't evolve and your actions don't change, you're gonna stay in the old energy. So this is where we stop playing small, we stop watering ourselves down, we start to become the version of us who is holding the power that we've always had, who commands $10,000 into their reality. And finally, we have the shakeup. This is usually the very last thing that happens right before your manifestation arrives. A lot of people call this a test, but what this really is the scarcity program that has been operating beneath all of this coming to the surface for you to look at. So this can be a tower moment, unexpected financial expense, something that just generally shakes you up, and it's bringing that program to the surface. And when you allow yourself to be more powerful than the program, you release that program from your experience, your operating system changes within you, your dominant frequency becomes a match to the money that you're calling in, and it arrives in your field. So now I want to give you a real life example of what this looks like so that you can apply it to your life and use it to manifest whatever it is that you're calling in. So Jane is actually based on me almost 2 years ago. So in early 2024, I found myself at basically a rock bottom. I had just left a narcissistic dynamic, which also meant I had to leave my corporate life behind, my friends, family, like pretty much hit the reset button on my life and start over. And I had no financial safety net, no backup plan, and really no idea where I was going. And so in this moment, I knew and felt that I was meant to be sharing my spiritual gifts with the world. And in 2020 hindsight, it's very clear, but I was so clouded by fear of being seen, the fear of my gifts, the fear of building financial independence outside of like a corporate structure or like the traditional structure. Like all of these things really, really clouded for me. Here's what changed, and here's how this 5-step process comes into play. I knew as a publicist, I had been a publicist, that I had to create a personal brand in order to move forward in any way. But I didn't like the way it was done in like traditional PR, which is all about curating perception and like controlling how people see you. So I set out to create like my own personal branding process. And I combined astrology, I combined all of the limiting belief work, the healing work that needed to be done, because as you're defining what it is that you want to create, all of those limiting beliefs come up. So this was the first step, is in creating this personal brand, I started to see all of the limiting beliefs that I had, and I started to tackle those one by one. Most of them led back to emotional wounding, right? That was step 2, is all of the emotions. So in this personal branding process that I created, which you can now buy, it's at the link in my bio, It's creating a personal brand. It's clearing the limiting beliefs. It's doing this healing work and understanding what emotions are at play in your field, because it's the first thing that come up when you identify that there's something more that you want, whether that be money or love or business or whatever it is for you. These are the first things that are going to start to come up. I go through this journey and I start to see and feel who I am. And now I'm starting to embody this new identity where I'm stepping into myself as more independent, as creating something. I still have no idea exactly what I'm creating yet, but I'm starting to step into this new identity. I'm starting to embody my spirituality, my gifts, all of these things more and more and more. And now I'm at this place where I'm starting to behave differently. My identity is shifting. My beliefs are shifting. I'm healing these deep wounds that I didn't even know I was carrying. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a huge financial expense pops up out of nowhere, unexpected, okay? So I'm already struggling financially. I haven't really kicked anything new off. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm like just barely getting by, making ends meet. I have rent due in a couple of days and I don't have my rent money yet. And I'm backing out of my driveway and I back into a car that comes out of nowhere. And so I didn't have money for my deductible. I was supposed to trade my car in like a week and I didn't have money to sign the new lease. Like I was just in this place where I was just like, why is this happening right now with all of the work that I'm trying to do? Like, why would this pile on? And that was my shake-up moment. And so now I'm like 3 days before rent is due. I've got this situation going on with my car. I'm kind of in this panic mode. Old stories are coming up. So I'm praying to God. I'm praying for help. I'm praying to my guides, like, guys, please help me. I don't know what to do here. In that moment, my guide said, post your channeled messages on TikTok. And this was my biggest fear. I was afraid to be seen, afraid to share my spiritual gifts. And although I had been working through all of this, I hadn't changed my actions yet. Okay, that was a part of this process of changing our actions. And so it doesn't make sense to me because divine intervention never does. Because I'm like, well, how is posting on TikTok going to help me right now? I don't have a following. I've never really posted before. Like, how is that going to bring in the money that I need to pay my rent in 3 days or get this car fixed or whatever? And so anyways, I fought this all day. It took me 5.5 hours to make a 2-minute video because I was in so much fear, but I finally posted this video and out of nowhere, money just started flowing to me, not from that video, but from every other direction. People were reaching out like, hey, are you looking for work? Or hey, what about this project? Or I was thinking of doing this thing and somebody sent me your information, like just things that didn't make sense. Divine intervention doesn't make sense, but we always have to take the action that doesn't make sense in order to align ourselves with that. So this program shook up the programming that was keeping me from taking action. I was staying in a healing loop. I was doing the work. I was healing the emotions. I was doing the breath work, the EFT tapping. I was releasing the limiting beliefs, creating the new stories, creating the new thought patterns. I was letting my identity change. I was evolving, but I wasn't taking the actions, right? So the thing that shook it up was this unexpected expense, this like rock bottom. And in that moment, I took the actions and that completed the process and money started to flow to me. Now, I was wanting to manifest $10,000 a month in my healing business at the time. I didn't have a healing business when I started thinking these things through and I started that personal brand, posted that TikTok, and within like 8 or 9 weeks, I was hitting $10,000 a month in my brand new business that I didn't really know how to run. I was still trying to figure all of these things out, but I was already at $10,000. And so your manifestations can come in super, super quickly as fast as you will follow that process. Your beliefs, your emotions, the somatic energy movement, taking the aligned actions with your new identity and allowing that program that comes up to be shaken to the surface and to hold the vision and to keep moving forward. And when you do that, you become unstoppable. You absolutely have the power to shift your reality and to change your life no matter what rock bottom you're experiencing right now or whatever it is that you're struggling with. If you follow this 5-step process, it's going to take you from where you are now to where you want to go. And not even 2 years later, I'm living a life that I didn't think was possible in this lifetime. I am having the most amount of impact I've ever had by sharing my gifts. I'm making the most amount of money that I ever have, and I'm doing the least amount of work. Like, I work 3 half days a week. I have an incredible community where I help people on this path, embracing their gifts, creating their businesses. I have some one-to-one clients, but like I have so much free time that I've created while sharing all of my gifts and ensuring that I can have the most amount of impact possible. This is something I didn't think was possible for me. I had so many limiting beliefs and so many scarcity programs, as many do, especially if you're like a healer, light worker, or starseed. So follow this 5-step process. If you want help doing it, you can go to the link in my bio.